Yeah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To you sisters, you Akhwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson. I'll give a fair use. 1976 Act. Fair use, not making money off of this at all. May this lesson be edifying. Yeah, so this is one killed in a 6.1 magnitude earthquake in northwestern Turkey. This was August 11th. No, it's actually sent us an update on August 11th by Reuters, and it says August 10th. So it's an update from the event from August 10th. It says one person was killed on Sunday when earthquake of a magnitude of 6.1 struck northwestern Turkey, Balıkesir Providence. Interior Minister Allah Yaliksta said, adding 29 people were wounded and 16 buildings collapsed. God dang. The quake, which Turkey AFAD Disaster Management Authority said occurred at around 7:53 p.m. was felt in multiple provinces, including the country's biggest city, Istanbul. You like Yeah, you're like yeah, yeah, you like sure, you like yeah, yeah, you like sure, yeah, you likes yeah. Look, trying to say the name, you likes yeah. Said 81-year-old person died after being rescued from rubble by emergency team. Yeah, and I have another one right here. This is Daily Mail. It's Daily Mail. It says huge 6.3 earthquake hit Indonesia in Pacific regions ring of fire. Right, that's like that same region where that big earthquake hit Russia, and all of a sudden you had a volcano eruption. So that's that ring of fire. So yeah, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, is definitely visiting the world which He made. It says this update is 10:40 a.m. 12 right? And that's beautiful, right? Because if you look at it, that's almost like, 144, 10, because 0, it's basically 0, but you put the 1 with the 144, and 12 represents government, right? See, you could, certain things you could see, it's just August 2025, right? And it says a magnitude 6.3 earthquake struck eastern Indonesia region. You're on Tuesday. I don't know how to say that word.
Papua.
Papua. Yeah, Papua. Papua. Yeah, okay. Papua. On Tuesday, U.S. Geologic Survey said, but a monitor said there was no tsunami threat. So that's what, when you have earthquake, I guess, in that region, especially right next to the ocean, there's always a chance that it gets shaken enough that there's a tsunami threat. He put 2 pictures in there, but they're not really showing the damage. But that's a beautiful place, though. But that yeah, the Lord's going to return those ancient places back to us, man. Yeah. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before." Right? So what time are we living in? You're supposed to measure the time diligently, right? In itself, right? Because like it tells you what, Ecclesiastes, I believe it's 3, right? So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 7. It says a time to rend, right? And you go into that word rend, it means to rip, tear apart, or violently, right? Be violent, right? So it's time to you're gonna, things is about to be violent, right? And a time to sow, things gonna be peaceful, and you can plant your crops and just live off the land and be peaceful. A time to keep silent, right? Because when things are happening, sometimes it's best to to keep silent. You don't, like they say, even when you get police, you have the right to remain silent, so you don't implicate, you don't put yourself in, you don't criminate yourself, right? And it's the same thing with the Lord, The Lord said, every idle word shall you be judged by. So sometimes it's better for you to just to keep silent. And when there's tumultuous noise and fighting and all sorts of things out in the world, wild beasts and things, hey, it's going to be best for you to keep quiet, or you're going to get put to death. Right? You know, especially some things ain't none of your business. It's always best for you to keep silent. And a time to speak, right? Saying, and right now is the time for us to speak up. As far as the Lord said to lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their sins, their iniquities, right? And spare no feelings, right? So to speak, right? So that's the time to speak. But there's going to come a time where, hey, famine of the word, we're going to be silent. It says a time to love and right, and rebuking your brother, right, according to the law, is love, right? It said, and a time to hate. And if people been hating and killing you for more than 400 years, it's okay for you to hate them, right? You know, you can't give me hate and expect love. It doesn't make sense. So it's a time to hate, a time for war, right? And it's the time that we're living in. Race wars, race tensions are building up. But that's according to the scripture. That's according to the Bible. Right? So what time are we in that we need to measure these things? Right? And a time for peace. And we definitely in a time of peace. Amongst the brothers, it's a time for peace. But even in that, the Lord allows certain things to be revealed, within the brotherhood. Because it tells you some crept in unawares. Right? So, says, what profit have he that worketh in that wherein he laboreth? Right? So if you're laboring in a time that's meant for war, and you're trying to have this so-called the time of the past where things were good, and you're constantly trying to bring that back, you're trying to find a way. Matter of fact, the brother Yawasop did a lesson, and he had stumbled on a video where Jake was saying he's already in heaven, right? And there was a couple other t-shirt fringe guys, which even they was going off, but they kept trying to, they had the right intentions, but it was bothersome, when I seen a little bit of it, because that's why I like what Apostle Harden say, hey, if a nigga can't get it, we're moving on, because he could have got into a whole bunch of other things that is needful for the sheep to hear, instead of going on and on and on with this man with simplicity. You know what I mean? Because it tells you that in Proverbs, he that is simple, turn unto me. If he's not turning in unto wisdom, knowing that he's simple, how long would you love simplicity, as the scriptures say, man? You're not gonna turn into wisdom. You're just gonna keep on your simplicity. I'm already in. Every day I walk in heaven, right? Oh yeah. Well, there's diseases and things and war, and ultimately, Donald J. Trump is about to make war against you, right? right? They're making war against the Israelites right now. But you in heaven. It says, and I have seen the travail, right? See, you're about to go through you about to go through some hard stuff, man. Right? Travail, which the power the Most High Yahweh have given to the sons of men, right? Right? Hey, the Lord put trials and tribulations in our lives, right? That's to grow you, right? To be exercised in it. See, and that's to give you growth, right? Right? Because what would it be if you didn't have any adversity in life? It means you're not a son of the Most High, right? The Lord chastened those He loved, so you're gonna go through things, right? You're not gonna just go through nothing. Even the heathen goes through things, right? Everybody goes through something. You gotta, hey, the Lord didn't set this up for no one. You have to go through anything so that you're in heaven already, right? He have made everything beautiful in His time, right? So the Lord is in due time everything will be beautiful. So you're trying to force yourself to have this beauty, this paradise, this Idan when it's not here. This is Esau's Idan. This is where there's moles and dope fiends and murders and thefts every day. This is his heaven, which is actually hell. This is hell. People die every day, right? There's earthquakes. Well, like I just showed, the earthquakes just demolished the old man. Which, people might go, oh well, he's older anyway. But hey, without the earthquake, he would be living. But things are of the Lord, right? It says, but in due time, the Lord's going to make the earth beautiful. Everything's going to be beautiful in His time. Also, He have set the world in their heart, right? Which is the elect. Now it's time for the elect to stand upon their feet, right? So this is how you know you're measuring the time in itself, because it's set in the heart of the elect. It's the desire for the elect to go out to the highways and the byways, right? The Lord said that He would stir up your pure remembrance, right? Which is la'ab, your mind, so that no man can find out the work that the power Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai maketh from the beginning to the end. And see, now the end is being what? Manifest. You go back right here to 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 2. Then shall thus understand that that it is the very same time wherein the highest, right, the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, will begin to visit the world which He made. And see, by these tumultuous things, race wars, riots, right? And also what? Earthquakes, right? It says, therefore, when there shall be seen what? Earthquakes and uproars of the people, see, race wars, riots, right? Shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shall thus well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, right? So you can't make this up. So this is the things that the Lord set in the hearts of the elect. And now it's the passion, it's our pleasure to go out and teach the children of Israel. Eat the whole roll and teach the children of Israel. And the Lord said, warn them for me. right? And so we're warning, Lord willing, part of that number, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Hey, it's gonna happen. The end of the world, it's being manifest right before you. If you're not noticing that, I don't know what else could you be? What else could be done if you're not noticing that this is the end of the world? Even so, the times, right, also of the highest have plain beginnings, right? Come on, man. It's just plain. I mean, come on. And wonders and powerful works. So I mean, 6 point, and what was the earthquake that hit Russia? It was like an 8.6 or 8.9. Man, hey, that is some powerful works of the Most High, right? And then a volcano uh, erupted sometime after, and that's part of that ring of fire. So they're saying this thing hit in was it Indonesia? My memory is kind of I believe it's Indonesia, and it was around the region of that ring of fire. So the Lord, hey, He's gonna wake up all these volcanoes. Everything's gonna get woken up, right? You woke. It's the woke movement. Yeah, the Lord's He's gonna awoke or wake up these volcanoes, man. They're gonna be woke too, right? To your destruction. So these are wonderful and powerful works, and the end and ends in effects and signs. See, it's a clear sign. We're at the end. Yeah, Trump doing what he's doing. Come on, bro. We're not ignorant of your devices. Come on. We see you ready to come down with great wrath, knowing that you have but a short time. Proving the scriptures. We're trying to. Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah. So this is Job, right? And Job is a representation of basically of the elect, right? Especially it's a representation of this time that we're living in. So this is Job chapter 1 verse 15, right? And the Sabians fell upon them and took them away, right? Grabbed them, took them into slavery, right? And these times you're going to be grabbed up, taken into concentration camps, micro C-hip, which is slavery, right? You're going to be upon the grid, right? Which that's what they're talking about, building entire cities size of data centers, spending $3 billion to build big data centers, right? Which is slavery, right? At the end of the day, digital slavery, right? But this in this time was physical. This was just brute strength, so to speak. But it's an example of things to come, right? And upon them took them away, yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee, which that represents the elect, right? The elect are the only ones going to escape out of these the times where people are fighting, these race wars, the calamities, the different basically the uproars of the people, right? When they're not going to regard their kings nor princes, right? It says while he was yet speaking, right? So right in the midst of this, and this is how things are going to come. You're not going to have time to rest. It's going to be one thing after another. Like, so, I mean, I guess I mean, it's hard for us to keep up with the news now. But when there's one thing after, and that's why the Lord's gonna, that has to be the famine of the word at that time. How can you prophesy the thing's gonna come one after another? You don't have time. You might end up being in danger. It's gonna be time for us to speak. But while there is time, it says while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of the power of the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is fallen from heaven, right? And that can easily be a chariot, right? That can easily be the volcano that's erupting, and easily you could give it the understanding of being what the ICBM missiles, right? See, and that's the time. That's the time that you're living in. That's the time you have to measure in itself diligently, right? That is coming upon the earth, and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them. See, yeah, see, what kind of fire can consume it, man? You're talking about an ICBM missile, but hey, a volcano lava shoots high up in the air and fall upon you. That will consume you. I mean, that's what is it, hella, it's hella hot, inside joke, right? But and I only am escaped, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee, right? Which that's dealing with the elect. The elect is going to escape, right? And we're going to be the ones to be able to tell this whole story once the new kingdom is, built. We're going to spend that 1,000 years putting these nations into captivity, building up the new Jerusalem, building up, the world. The world's going to be a totally different place, right? All the pollution and things are going to be gone away. The guns and things are going to be melted, right? Right? It's going to be complete peace on earth, as far as especially for the sake of the Israelites' sake, you're gonna be in peace, right? Yeah. So this is Job chapter 15, verse 33, and he shall shake off his unripe grapes as the vine, and cast off the flower as the olive, for the congregation of hypocrites shall be devoured, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery, starting with Esau, Edom, because all these other nations are attached to them, or with them, right? As it says, as the ruler, so are the people. And that's this world, because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? Even 2/3 of our own people, it's basically under the tabernacle of bribery, right? Because their whole thing is they don't want to be involved with the truth, right? Because they're getting the so-called goodies of this world, you know, you know, right? You get the micro C hip. That's bribery. You just took, you took bribery. You know what I'm saying? They basically bribed you. Okay, yeah, just come over here, get the micro C hip. Don't worry about anything. Yeah, you might have to be in a 15-minute city. You're basically a prisoner, but you can eat. You can have some type of sense of normality, or what they call the new normal. So in your head, you'll think you're better than the other people who, they kind of showed you that in that the Demolition Man. These people were slaves. All of them had the micro C hip. They can only do so many things. They had to go eat at Taco Bell. There was no other food places. You had to eat the same food. You had to dress the same way. You were in prison, bro. It just made it look cool because it had all this so-called technology. Hey, man, they conceive mischief, see, and that's ultimately what it is. The micro C hip and all these other things, they're just conceiving mischief, man. Right? Thinking they could be God and bring forth vanity, right? Yeah, it's a vain thing to be like, oh yeah, I'm better than you. I have the micro C hip. I have a Tesla that can drive itself. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? I'm an intelligent human being. I can drive my own self. I don't need anything, and I don't need you to tell me when I can eat, when I can't eat, when I need to go to bed, because that's prison. At the end of the day, right? And you're just a man and not God, right? As the scriptures say. It says, and their belly prepareth what? Deceit. Yeah, see? Because their whole thing is to fill their belly, right? With their enterprise, right? That's why the Lord said that they're gonna vomit it all up. Right? Yeah, so this is Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 20. It says, so I considered the world, and behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention, there was peril, right? Which means dangers. Right? And that's what we're coming in at time. You're supposed to measure the time diligently in itself. What is happening right now? There's perils because of the devices, right? And the micro C hip is a device, man. Right? These towers that they're about to build, these city towers of information, right, are set as devices set for peril, right? So they can have a constant surveillance, right, over the people, which is prison. That's it. You can get the micro C hip and still be a prisoner. Yeah, that's no reward. That ain't good. That were come into it, right? These are the things that's coming into the world. Constant surveillance, right? The Golden Dome, Palantir, what's it called? Hapsir, which is the gospel to Esau, Edom, Amalek, Hapsir, which is constant surveillance, which they've been practicing live exercise on people, right, for quite some time, since 2012, right? That's why it's no accident they G-siding, because they feel like that it's time to fill their belly, right, so to speak, right? It says, and I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept my grape, right, which is the elect of the cluster. So he's taking a whole cluster of grapes, but he's only going to take one grape out of that. And then grapes are supposed to have a seed in it. So now you can take that one grape out and plant that seed, and it's going to turn into many. You're not supposed to have seedless grapes. Does it make sense? And plant of a great people. See? Seeds, right? And that's proving that we're going to have a lot of sex in the kingdom, right? And the kingdom of heaven is going to be here on earth after the great destruction, of many ICBM missiles being shot throughout the world, arrows from one end of the world unto the other, right? Let the multitude perish then, see? And that's what's going to happen. Those multitudes are going to perish through the ICBM missiles, through the race wars, through the wars, the famines, the pestilence, all the things that's going to happen. But the Lord is going to preserve the elect, right? Let the multitude perish then, which were born in vain. Let my grape be kept, and let my grape be kept, and my plant for with great labor have I made it perfect. And that's what we're going to be. We're going to be perfect in the kingdom of heaven, right? The laws, statutes, and commandments will be written within our mind, in our heart, la'ab, our mind. We're going to do it perfect. Yeah, so this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privily, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Right? Which is basically what was said in Second Esdras, right? Pretty much. It says, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, right, saying, I am Hamashiachim, right, which goes into ultimately the unction, saying they have the unction of the Holy Spirit, right? Because it says that you have an unction of the Holy Spirit and you know all things. Basically, they said they know all things concerning the book of life, right? Ultimately. And it says, basically saying that they're one of the, because according to Obadiah, the very last verse says they were saviors, right? Which would be like the anointed ones, right? Which that's what Hamashiachim mean, saying that you basically having that unction, you know all things, basically, and shall deceive many, right? They're gonna say, oh yeah, I know, I'm one of those, those prophets. I'm part of that elect number, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. See? So that tells you the time that we're living in. Time of war. Time of violence. Right? The time of trouble. Jacob's trouble. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we those are what measure the time diligently, right? And when you see part of the signs pass, see, which we're starting to see that part of the signs pass. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So, now we're getting on to something. Now we're getting to something, right? All these are the beginning of sorrows, see? And now we're starting to see those things. Earthquakes, volcanoes, uproars of the people, right? The micro hip coming in, right? All these things, right? Esau about to come down with great wrath, knowing they had but a short time. We could see those things. It's evident, right? So, with all that, I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakha HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and Abba Ball, Kwam Yasharallah.